it, baby. It's week 1 of Bits and Bytes. United States, baby. And what a day to be from America than to start Bits and Bytes with an attempted coup. But let's not even fucking get into it. Oh, I said I wasn't going to curse. Well, we're already beating the dead horse. 50 and 50, baby. One state a week for 50 weeks. Week 1. What's that say? Bama. We going to Bama town. That's right, everybody. We're going down to Bama town. Hot Atlanta. Nope, that's the wrong place, too. I'm just getting excited. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining. Cue this up over here. Make sure everybody's looking dialed in. Make sure I can see all your pretty faces on the screen that I'm looking at. There we go. Pull this music down a little bit. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining. Who's here, everybody? Next level, of course. Goopy Bloops. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Killing it in Alabama land. Where do we begin with Alabama? Look at this questionable flag that looks like it's from a British knight or something. This looks like a flag you get from medieval times. In fact, I think that's the red and white knight flag. But whatever. Alabama. I don't know much about you. Let's be honest. I mean, what is there to say about Alabama? It's a weird state to start with, because I don't think a lot of people know what Alabama's about. Bring up them facts. Here we go. The Heart of Dixie, it's called. That's the nickname. I don't know why. Oh, you know what? I wrote stuff down about this, as a matter of fact. I did more preparation for Alabama, which is to say I didn't do too much, than I did for most of my collegiate career. But I forgot I wrote this down. I almost forgot this book. I had to go grab it. What do we have here? Alabama football. All right, we're going to get into that, right? Civil rights, very important, of course. Huntsville, Alabama. Space, we're going to get into that. Terrible neighbors, Mississippi and Florida. And, yeah, all right, some good stuff there. Nicknamed the Heart of Dixie. Became a state in 1819. Apparently our 22nd state, if this could be true. Almost 5 million. Capital is Montgomery. The biggest city is Birmingham. The abbreviation is AL. If you're writing mail, it's AL. The state bird's the yellow hammer. And the state flower is the camellia. I don't know what a camellia is. Can we get my trusty board up here? What's a camellia? Anyone? Let's see how beautiful this flower is. Oh, that's a pretty little thing. Is that a camellia? What a gorgeous little flower. What a beaut. Aw, that's a cute little thing. Thanks, Alabama, for picking a cute flower. I did see something really cool this morning when I was going through some stuff, prepping. I came across a video, and I'm trying to not play just other videos due to monetization and stuff like that, and playing other music, you know. Obviously, we want to hear Sweet Home Alabama, don't we? But I can't play that, because it'll just get ripped from the track, and we can't start. We don't want to play that game. So, I did find a video today, though, that we'll roll the dice on. It's from a weatherman in Alabama. His name is James Spann. And this guy looks serious, if you could see him there. But he put together a video, I'm assuming, wherever he does the weather for ABC, he put together a video. It's pretty cool. It's like a 2020 year in review for Alabama, and I wanted to play it. It's like 2 minutes. I just thought it was a cool, like, setting the tone of Bama, this guy's Alabama pride. We could watch that, and then we'll get right into these delicious, these treats I have here, these sweet treats that you could see to my rear here. So let's get into the man. Let's watch it. While I pour myself a beverage. The best rig.
We are Alabama.
This guy's got a powerful voice also.
We're Sand Mountain, the Wiregrass.
A sand mountain? All right, we have to. Also, let's not forget, later in the show, we're having a real deal. I think it's just him. I'm not sure if it's him and his wife, but they're coming on from Alabama, from Eating Alabama. They're going to be joining us. They're going to be calling in, video chatting in, and we're going to talk to them about all the questions. So question one, oh, watch the cursing. Sand Mountain. All right, back to it.
Grass, the Black Belt, and the beaches of the Gulf Coast. We're towns that aren't much more than a roadside barbecue joint. And we are cities whose buildings stretch into the sky.
Barbecue, noted.
Birmingham, Huntsville, Montgomery, and Mobile.
Mobile!
We're farmers, engineers, mechanics, and professors. We're moms and dads, and we're people of faith.
Amen.
On autumn Saturdays, some of us head to Bryant Denny and Jordan Hare.
So I'm assuming that those two things that he just said that I won't even attempt to pronounce again are these big stadiums. Because in Bama, they friggin' love football. Apparently there's a huge rivalry between, I think it's Alabama State and Auburn. I don't even know. I didn't look into it. Probably something you should do as a host. I was more concerned about the bits and the bites, the food and the drink. But I'm excited to talk to the real deal Alabamians about this business.
And yes, we are even national champions.
College football's terrible.
We're a beacon of economic progress, from the automobile factories to aeronautical advancements in Huntsville to emerging technology companies statewide. We like to go fast, especially at the biggest, baddest, fastest track in America, Talladega.
Dang it, baby!
But we also like to slow down at places of natural beauty.
This guy's great.
Such as the falls of Little River Canyon.
It's powerful.
The Eastern Shore,
emotional right now.
Fairhope and Daphne.
Daphne.
We are Alabama, and we're proud of our successes and our progress. But we know we still have work to do to make the dreams of all Alabamians stir and sparkle and come alive.
Hi.
For so many of us, this has been a season of adversity. But how we respond to hard times defines us. It molds our character and forges the contours of our iron-strong wills. All of this gives a unique opportunity during these trying days. Look back through the pages of our history. We've had our differences and our struggles, but we've also worked for the common good. You can see it across our great state. Individuals displaying their
It's longer than I remember, but you know, it's still good.
Showing empathy and kindness to neighbors and strangers alike, extending a caring hand, showing love.
Aw, they love it, Alabama.
Make no mistake, right now we
COVID. Of course, they got to bring it to the goddamn pandemic and show homeless
just
people.
like the infernos that glowed during Birmingham's iron and steel
age. It's like the opening of a video game.
Flames can be uncomfortable.
SimCity, Alabama, epic intro.
But they have a magnificent purpose, even though it may be hard to see in the moment.
Okay, that mask, let's just start here. You got a hole in it, bitch. You're breathing out. It's not stopping anything. What are you doing? Sorry.
But know this, we will emerge and be stronger, smarter, and better equipped for the future. Just as the first glimmers of dawn pierce the darkness,
Pierce the darkness!
Sunrise is coming. We will persevere. We will overcome.
We know.
And we will live in that shining light again. We will always be Alabama.
Bama! All right, so, you know, woke up, saw that. It was really nice. Apparently that's a meteorologist. But let's take a look at Alabama and where it is on the map. It's like a history lesson. Look at this shit. We're getting to the food and drink. Hold on. It's coming up. Someone asked what belt, where's the fucking, what belt are we in? I'll tell you what belt I think Alabama's in. Alabama's in what I would consider here the southern, oh, hold on, hit the fucking tune. Here's the knockoff we got for. It's not Sweet Home Alabama, that's for sure. But it's similar. Terrible. This. This sucks. We have a great production team here behind Bits and Bytes. I said we could play Sweet Home Alabama. He came to me with this tune. It's fantastic. Listen to this. Listen to this gem. Look at that great guitar skills. Oh, that's great. Anyway, I don't know what belt Alabama would be in, but I would definitely consider it the fucking crazy belt because you're down here right next to Mississippi and right next to Florida. So anywhere down here, I'm going to go ahead and call it the fucking crazy town area. Now, I don't know people from Alabama. I don't know much about it, but it's definitely the weird zone down there. So again, hopefully when we talk to, I don't know if it's just going to be Brian or, Nick or Nick and Jenny. They're calling in around 7 o'clock, I think. Yeah, all right. So 7 will have it in. Let's get to it. Let's get to what we're here for. What we're here for is not football, no. We're eating and we're drinking. So we got some items down here. I did my best to find every state so far that I've been working on. I'm trying to find, I guess we should set the stage, right? I'm trying to find the most iconic. Now, there's going to be a list of every place. So we're not going to hit it right every fucking time, all right? But you want to be close. Some of the most iconic stuff that is specific to that state. That's the bit here, right? So I'm looking for Alabama. What do you make that I can only get in Alabama? All right? First things fucking first. You got these Golden Flake chips. All right, I don't know what... I haven't had these yet. I haven't had the Golden Flake chips yet. But apparently they make these in Alabama with Alabamian... what's the word I'm looking for? Potatoes. It's pretty crazy. They using their Utz now owns Golden Flake, but you can't buy them here. Apparently, Golden Flake started as a Magic City food product. They used to make like horseradish and fucking sandwiches. I read up a lot about the potato chips more than I did anything else about it. Had something to do with some football coach, of course, because it's Alabama. The Muppets, what's his name? Jim Henson designed a puppet mascot called the Gobbler for Golden Flake in the 70s. He was probably very high. Golden Flake also one of the first companies in the, I'm going to go ahead and just say the world, to make a dill pickle chip flavor. Dill pickle flavor chips comes from the Golden Flake, baby, and we got them. We got the dill picks. Sweet Heat is the flavor that's the most popular. That's the one I just showed you. We're going to eat that too. And so that's a big thing. That's a big thing. All right, so that's what the fucking Golden Flake is about. And they're made in Alabama still. In Birmingham, Alabama. It's the only place you can get these. How did I get them? Because I'm the shit, and I figured out how to get shit here. All right? It's not that goddamn hard. You could do it too. So, we're going to get into these chips. We might as well just pop some chips. Let's try the OG chips first. We'll just munch on some chips as we get into some, oh, yeah. No, it just is like shitty Lay's. Look at this. See what kind of chip we're talking about here? See this? This is a flat chip. That's a good flavor to it. Good potato. Not bad. I'm not a big Lay's fan. I don't want to get in a fight about it and all, but, you know. It tastes like a Lay's chip to me. We're going to get in the Sweet Heat barbecue. Hopefully it tastes a little different, but boom. Golden Flake, baby. That's number one. Number two, a little salty, a little thirsty now. Oh, yeah. Clyde Mays, baby. My green screen is fading behind me. My magic portal. I don't know what happened to my lights. Oh, that'll do it. Clyde Mays. Alabama-style whiskey. Now, I've had Clyde Mays. The first time I had Clyde Mays was at a bar formerly known as the Iron Room in Atlantic City. We're going to open this bottle right now because I don't have an open bottle upstairs, and this is a freshie. Clyde Mays Original Alabama-style whiskey, crafted using Clyde's special Alabama-style recipe for a warm, smooth taste. Now, if you've been watching the Billy Vegas show at all, or any of the Hack Chef shows, you know, we like to indulge. We like to drink a little bit. We like to sip in the sauce and talk about it. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. I think Alabama-style whiskey, this is super indicative of the state. It is not a bourbon by any means, although they do make a bourbon, which doesn't make any sense to me. Just stick with what you're fucking good at. They, it says a bunch of stuff here. Oh, I could just read it to you right here. It also says, say what you be and be what you say, which I suppose is, you know, just good words to live by. It's a very thin chip. So we got about 15 minutes till we have the guests. Remind me to make sure that I pop in the room here. So let's read the side of this as we scroll through the legacy here. Clyde May lived outside the law. Let's fill up my cup. You know I got some ice. Thanks, everybody. Look at this. Look at all these kids in here. I'm throwing some ice in there, although I should save the ice, I guess. Let's try it without the ice. I think I've always had it with ice. So the thing I remember about Clyde Mays, and the first time I had it, was that it's definitely COVID ice. It's got a strong, like, apple scent. And I think, from what I remember reading, that they put apples, or dried apples, or Clyde May himself, when he first made Alabama-style whiskey, put dried apples into the oak barrels. Now, I don't know if this website's going to tell us that, but we're going to dig around a little bit and find out, because there is, I believe, like a legacy button here, a story. Let's dig in a little bit, because I definitely smell the legacy of Clyde. Oh, so it's actually called... I don't know how to, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's, I need to see the word. That would probably help. Conekuch. Hopefully our Alabama man who joins us can pronounce it the right way, but, Conahue? Like Matthew McConaughey? Conica. I don't know, whatever it is. It's Conica Ridge is the bit. All right, that's like an area. We can pull it up right here. Conica County, Alabama. So right dead set south, right in the middle. Oh, what a enthralling view that is. That looks great, doesn't it? Fantastic. I'm glad I pulled this up. That's really good stuff. So, Clyde Mays defies true grit. Born into a single mother shortly before the Great Depression. Aw, Clyde. Clyde was raised in a time and place that required a dose of resilience and character, traits that would become a hallmark of the man and his whiskey. 1942, Clyde Mays proudly serves in the Army's 77th Infantry Division during World War II. He earned a Bronze Star and a Purple Heart while, that's good, while commanding a 12-man rifle squad. Good job, Clyde. Clyde's misfortune of being wounded in battle turned into a pretty good thing for whiskey-loving Conica Ridge locals. 1946, Clyde knew a thing or two about crafting the finest spirits around, even if his methods were slightly outside the laws of the land. You could just go back and say that your company was based on illegal activity. His high standards of commitment to quality cemented his reputation as the most wanted moonshiner in Alabama, if not the country. Probably not the country. This is probably a fake story. Clyde knew how to make great moonshine, and because of his handiwork, he spent 8 months in the federal pen. at Maxwell Air Force Base in Montgomery, Alabama, before he was paroled. Soon after his release in true Clyde May form, he started sitting up his neck still. What a fucking degenerate. I think he's an alcoholic. I think Clyde May had problems. Yeah, I think we're going to get rid of the Google Maps. It's a little bit too much. It's too much overlay. We're going to keep that off. Thank you for the heads up, though. Clyde May's becomes legit. Distilled since 1946. Legal since 2001. Over 70 years of authenticity, dedication, integrity, and perseverance. That's what it takes to become the first official state spirit in the country. The official state spirit of Alabama. So this is the official state spirit of Alabama. Just like I said, I'm trying to find the most legit shit. This was pretty goddamn legit. That's it right there. Clyde May's Alabama style, 85 proof, original age, 4 years in oak barrels, finished with a hint of apple. Now, from what I remember, they use dried apples in this, and if I had to guess, it would be green apples, because that's definitely the bite that you get. I tried to reach out to Clyde May's and get them on the phone or get a representative to talk to us. They declined to meet with our press secretary, but we do have some good stuff lined up for the other states, but let's stick on target for Alabama. All right, so this is it. I mean, it's really tasty. I don't know. I'm excited to talk to someone from Alabama and see how legit Alabama-style whiskey is from Clyde May's. Is this something they actually drink down there? Because this is what they sell us up here, Alabama-style whiskey, and then they got this 110 proof special reserve, which is something I would definitely buy, but you can't get by us. The only thing you can get is this Alabama-style whiskey. And then the what do you call it? The bourbon, which I don't know why you're making a bourbon. They got a cask strength, even stronger, impressive. Straight rye, wish I could get some of that. And there's the bourbon, which is good, but I want give me the Alabama hitter. That's what I want, and that's what this is, and it's pretty good. Pretty tasty to drink neat. Let's fill up the cup. Let's pop some ice up in that bad boy. And let's get some sweet heat barbecue. I wish I knew a little bit about football. I wish I knew a little bit about college football and Alabama football, why people are so obsessed with it. But again, hopefully our guest can bring us in on it. If you guys have any questions for our when they join Nick and Jenny from Eating Alabama, eatingalabama.net, they go all around eat and drink. Well, I'll let him tell you all about what they do, and then we'll have a banter. I have not talked to him yet. We've only briefly chatted online. Seems like a super cool cat, and we're gonna get into it. And we're gonna get into this other thing over here. So this is something that I wanted to get one or two things, and then it always ends up getting more than you need. This is something that I didn't quite get. Ivory barbecue sauce. Alabama Northern white sauce. Focus! Northern Alabama white. From Lily Q. It's a badass barbecue place. Lily Q's, I think it's like, what's his name? John Lilly or whatever? I could be confusing that up, but in any event, this is one of the most natural white barbecue sauces that I could find. Most of them are just full of like processed garbage, and I didn't know what it was about, and I've only had knockoffs of people who make Alabama hot sauce up here. So I haven't had the white sauce yet, so we're gonna try it. I know what the label says. Let's see. Where's the Lily Q hitter? There it is. This is what we're getting into. This tangy sauce is a true Alabama white barbecue sauce with a pinch of cayenne. All natural, gluten-free, no preservatives, blah, blah, blah. Good with chicken and fries are our favorite ivory companions, but try it on any of your barbecue favorites. So, the producers aren't here. They're concerned for their life. They had to come in from D.C., and there was issues going on in D.C. tonight. So it's all right. We have the means. We have the technology. So we're going to open this up. Now, again, I don't think I've legit had a real Alabama white barbecue sauce. I thought I brought a... just so we could see the texture. So let's see how it pours. Well, that's certainly exciting. It's, whoa. It smells like vinegar and mayonnaise. She thick. She thick with 2 C's. Let's give it a shaky shake. Try not to get it everywhere. It's definitely like lots of flakes in here. Black pepper flakes. Just trying to get some out. There we go. There she is. Yeah. All right. Nice. Not my favorite taste. Well, it smells like apple cider and white vinegar. If we can show you what it looks like a little bit. Just want to show you like the texture. It's glossy. She real glossy. She real glossy, Clark. Let's just give it a try. It's vinegary. It's creamy. It's salty. That's weird. It's got like a... I guess it's got a little heat on the back. I'm not really sure what's going on. It's not like creamy like mayo, but it has creaminess. It tastes like a salad dressing. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, when I was talking to EatingAlabama about having this, he said you should get yourself some chicken wings. And I did that. So these are not from Alabama, but I did go out before the show and pick up some chicken wings from a local place. So I guess if we're going to try it, we should do it the right way, right? These are just smoked chicken wings, which I thought was pretty fair because it's what you're supposed to have. It's what you're supposed to have with it. So I usually frown immensely around delivery food and delivery wings. But let's take a look at these. They're definitely smoked. All right, let's take a look. These don't look so bad. All right, not bad. Little thing of blue cheese here we don't need. Yeah, I don't know what this cyberpunk music is. I just got a playlist going. So I'm going to try one of these wings with the sauce to see if it changes a little bit. And then see if my man is joining the chat over here. And then we'll have a chat with my mouth full, which sounds like a good time. Hopefully the chat works and we can talk to him. Any questions, let me know in the chat. I'll try the wing first, you know. Wing's really not that bad. I was sauced up. All right, the sauce definitely changes when you bring the chicken into the fold. The smoke, the crunch. Yeah, the smoke, the crunch. I'm trying to not judge the wing. I'm trying to judge the sauce with the smoke play. It's not bad. The sauce is definitely not for consuming on its own. Like most sauces would not be. It's vinegary and strange. I'm assuming if you make a whole chicken and slather the shit out of it, it might be a good play. Oh, great. So, yeah, I don't know. Alabama white sauce, definitely a good call. It has its place probably at the barbecue table. Chicken makes sense. That's what the man said. And gonna smother it in barbecue sauce. So let's see. Okay, I'm gonna join in the meeting here. So I told him 6 his time, so I'm just gonna fire it up here. Make sure my shit works on my end. Looks like it's working. Hopefully he joins, and then I can make this this will look good for you guys, and it'll be good. So I think when he joins, it'll just hopefully Tim and his wife. Maybe it's just him. Who could say? But we'll see what happens. So anyway, the barbecue sauce not bad. The Alabama whiskey, I'm definitely gonna tell you to get. If you're like me and you're in New Jersey, you can get it. I'm pretty sure they distribute this all over. This is something you can get your hands on. It's definitely whiskey, and it's definitely got that apple note is nice. There's something about it that's kind of tasty. It's a sweetness without being sweet. You know, it's like a fruit sweet. Does that make any sense? The apple thing is the thing, and I think that's kind of what makes it uniquely Alabamian to me. I couldn't find a mash bill for it, so I couldn't tell you, but the Carnegie Ridge whiskey, here we go. We got my man Nick joining the call. Meeting Alabama. Let's see if we can get this up and running without destroying. Is that Nick? Let's see if we can do this. Let me kill my music. Is that Nick? Can you see me, brother?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah! Hold on. Let me pull you up here. We're live, so I'm just going to pull you in and make sure this works well. Let's see.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Pull up. Here he is. Nick from Eating Alabama.
What's going on?
Now, what's up, buddy?
I don't know it.
Nice to meet you and talk to you finally, isn't that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Let me
dude.
get you tuned up a little bit.
Yeah, dial it all in.
Audio good?
You sound good to me.
Awesome.
I'm sure whoever's here can tell us, but you sound good to me, so I'm sure it sounds good to them.
Yeah, literally, like, just throwing this stuff together.
It's all good. It looks good. I think I could see you. I think everything looks all right. So far, so good.
Yeah.
So welcome to the show, dude. This is the first show that we're doing it. Like I said, we're doing every state once a week. Alphabetical, starting with Alabama. I started
Love
poking.
the concept, man.
It's cool, man. I started poking around the internet looking for people who, kind of represent their states in a weird way.
Yeah.
And, food bloggers and stuff like that are kind of like a great entry for doing this kind of talk, this kind of shit. So I found you, and I'm glad we hooked up, and now look at us.
For real, man. Awesome.
So tell me a little bit. So I'll tell you what I've been doing. So for the past like 20 minutes, half hour, whatever, I've dug through. I don't know if I told you what I got. These golden flake chips.
Yeah.
So is this something that you guys actually eat? So apparently this is like they only make them down there, or maybe they used to. Like Utz owns them now.
Yeah, Utz owns them now. I think they purchased them in 2016. But yeah, Golden Flake is a family-owned business for up until 2016, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure about when they started, but they were a Southern staple for many, many years, and still is. But and that right there is probably one of my favorites that you got, the Sweet Heat.
The Sweet Heat.
And I want to say they are probably the first ones that come out with that Sweet Heat type combination.
That's what I heard, and I heard they also were the first ones that came out with the dill pickle.
Yes.
So I got that also. I had to get some of that.
And I'll tell you, they ended up doing the pork skins in the Sweet Heat, which is absolutely phenomenal.
Now that sounds really good. I saw when I was trying to get these, you could get them from Utz. You could order them from Utz, but you have to order these huge cases. So I had to get them from somewhere else. I didn't need a whole case of chips. Love me some chips, but I don't need a case of chips.
Exactly.
But this little sampler is pretty dope. But the Sweet Heat is good. It's very similar to a lot of the barbecue chips that you would taste now.
Exactly.
And the dill pickle is big up here where I am in New Jersey. That like every brand has their own dill pickle chip. So it was cool to find out that they were the first ones to do it down there apparently. And then they took all those flavors to their pork rinds and all that kind of business. So that's cool. Confirmed. Golden Flake is a legit thing. That's cool. I'm sorry, I got you on this camera, so I keep looking over here.
We're good.
That's cool. Golden Flake is cool. And they're tasty. Like they're kind of like Lay's, but a little bit different. I don't know.
Yeah, to me, they're a little less greasy than Lay's. Lay's, I mean, I do like some Lay's. Don't get me wrong. I'm when snack foods, I don't turn down many chips, and but they have a little less greasiness than a Lay's chip.
Yeah, they're for sure. The Lay's is definitely a little. Your hand is all slicked up when you start eating the Lay's. This is not so much, which is nice. They're tasty. They're good. I don't want to just eat 5 bags of chips though. So
exactly.
I did that.
I limit it to myself.
And and I got their cheese curls over there, but I wanted to stick with the OG. I want to stick with the real deal, the chips.
There you go.
So that's cool. That was good. And then the second thing I got was Clyde Mays whiskey.
Yes.
Now, is this something that you guys get into over there? Or is this something that they're just marketing around as Alabama style, please buy us stuff?
It is, and it's kind of I'm in part of several bourbon clubs in the Birmingham.
Oh, you're my kind of guy, bourbon clubs.
And,
yes.
Yeah, and that's kind of a funny thing because they're labeled as Alabama Spirit, but they're owned, if I'm not mistaken, by a New York company now. They used to be bottled in like Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
They would distill it was coming from sourced out of, I don't know if it was MGP or Dickel or somewhere. It was nothing had Alabama other than the wording.
Right. And that's, so it's from, what is this? How do you say this? Kaneka. I was saying Kaneki, Connie, Kaneka.
Yeah, Kaneka. Which funny thing is, going back to Alabama foods, Kaneka sausage is like, it's going south and hopefully statewide before too long, but it is a phenomenal sausage.
Now, Kaneka sausage, I came up when I started, after I got the stuff, I saw Kaneka sausage like 2 days ago, and I was like, shit, I wish I got some of that. But it looks like that's the thing, too, and Kaneka seems like they have the whole kind of little regional cuisine down there, so it was nice to tap into that after getting me some of the Clyde Mays. I didn't realize that. So what's that sausage about?
Oh, it's a nice spicy sausage, good smoked sausage, and really they do like a hickory smoked, and then they do their spicy, and then that's pretty much it. They just kind of keep it simple.
That makes me so happy.
And they do bacon, which their bacon's okay. Not to knock on it, their sausage is better. But when it comes to bacon, Benton's bacon out of Tennessee is
Benton's is king. I think everyone knows Benton's is king.
Yes.
So all right, so Clyde Mays now, all right. So it's almost like a bit. That's what I was reading about. I was trying to find someone from Clyde Mays to talk, and it's really just all in name.
Standard whiskey lore. You've always got some kind of gimmick to go with it.
Of course.
But that being said, it is a good whiskey, and there are several that love, especially their single barrel that they came out with.
That's what I was trying to get, because usually that's better, but I can't get that up here. The only thing you can get is this and their bourbon, and I don't want the bourbon. I wanted at least the OG Alabama style, which I was reading. And I remember the first time I tried this was a couple years back at a bar, because I never saw it. And I was like, let me try that. And it has like this appley thing to it, and I guess that's part of the bit. Part of the bit is they use dried apples in the barreling process, and you do get that. It's not like it's an apple whiskey, like a gimmick. I don't even think it says apple on the bottle.
Right. It's not even like that imitation flavor that
not
you get
at
from
all.
like a Jim Beam or something like that.
No, it's a legit, it just adds this little thing, and it's super cool. It just makes it really easy drinking, which maybe that's part of the Alabama vibe. I don't know.
Yeah, apparently that was the thing. I don't know. Like I said, there's a story behind it that, the Clyde Mays story was that the OG guy from back in the 1800s or whenever, that's the way he did his separate than everybody else to kind of
I just read
flavor.
That's what I just read. I just read their story off their thing, and it just read like every other fake whiskey story that they made, and I was like, all right, cool. Glad you're a moonshiner. You went to jail, and now you're a champion of the world. That's cool. But whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not bad. So let me ask you this: you live down there. I don't want to blow up where you live exactly, but like, where in the state are you? North, south, east, west ish?
I live in a city called Hoover, which is just south of Birmingham. So I'm really in the heart and center of Alabama. So, which is a good location for what we do. Cool. Since we try to get out, and of course, obviously with COVID this past year, that kind of limited our traveling. And covering the state, but yeah, that's we're in a great location where we can get to the mountains of North Alabama or to the beaches of Gulf Shores.
Nice. So I mean, I would love to talk to you about the mountains and the beaches, and let's get into that. But tell me a little bit about like what kind of like on the Clyde Mays tip. Do you have? I know by me. In the past 10 years, breweries are everywhere. And I know Alabama's, I've had some beers from Alabama for sure. But do you guys have like distilleries down there too? Is there like a big craft scene like that? Or are there few and far between?
It's kind of becoming a thing. I want to say maybe maybe 2014 or 15, and I'd have to go back and look, but there were, ABC has got a hand on the state of Alabama, and everybody knows Alabama's, in the Bible Belt. So legislature has been harsh on the spirit industry in particular. Breweries have been around for a while, but it wasn't until a few years ago, Redmont Distilling, which is out of Birmingham, they're vodka and distiller, and I think they have a gin, and I'm not sure if they got into the dark spirits yet. But Redmont was kind of the forefront. The people that owned it, they were the ones that was kind of going to legislation and saying, look, Alabama needs to be able to distill spirits. And so they were kind of the first ones to do it.
So they're not allowed? Like the laws are really strict there? Like you can't?
It was pretty strict for a while. Like I said, it's loosened up now. And now that's been being more distillers.
Yeah.
But a lot of them either are sourcing their dark, whiskey, or they're, currently waiting to age their own. So from what I understand, and going back to Clyde Mays, I did read a while back, I don't know where they are, but in Troy, Alabama, which is just south of Montgomery, they were supposedly building a distillery down there so that they could kind of start doing their own thing and bringing in. And that's part of the reason why, it has gotten Clyde Mays in particular has probably gotten away from Alabama's because, again, it was restricted. You couldn't do hard liquor. Everything was just beer and wine. That was pretty much it.
Yeah, I remember a couple years back, it was very difficult for people I know starting breweries up here. I'm talking like 10 years ago. And that was just when craft beer was just starting to become a thing. Like just when it was like, at least in this area, it was just starting to get big. And people were trying to open a brewery. You're like, oh, cool, brewery's going to open up. And now, fast forward 4 years after that, every town around here has got a brewery. Literally every town has its own brewery, which is cool because that apparently is how it used to be. Like you would drink the beer of your town, and you go to town over, you drink the beer over there. So it's kind of cool that they got back into that, especially in a state like New Jersey with so many goddamn laws where it's so restrictive. They really did fight for it and push it open, and it created like a whole little industry here in New Jersey. There's so many craft breweries, some better than others, but it's just cool to have that much innovation and drink going on, at least in New Jersey.
Yeah, I mean, Birmingham's the same way. I mean, when the laws kind of went down for the breweries, it just kind of opened up, and there are several. And I'm not a big beer drinker, but I will, go to bat for a couple of the breweries here in Birmingham. And in Alabama, there's some in Montgomery and Mobile. And
what's your favorite brewery down there? I can get my hands on some. Yeah,
probably Good People is probably one of the best.
Okay.
As far as especially being able to get some. Trim Tab is another really good one. They really do good on the sour end of things.
I love sour beers.
Yeah, they do a lot of sours where sometimes they'll do it and it'll be like a small batch thing, and you'll pretty much it's not bottled. It's just you have to go to
you got to go pick it up and bring it back.
You just got to go and get you a growler or have it there. Another good one here is Interstellar, which is just south of us. And Interstellar is actually a ginger beer company, which you don't see many of those. And I love a good ginger beer because I do like I said, I like bourbon and I like vodka and I love a good Moscow or Kentucky Mule. And you throw an actual alcoholic ginger beer in the mix.
That sounds delicious.
Kicks it up, man.
You're making me thirsty
and
now.
They make one that's like a pina colada one. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it is absolutely.
I'm sure it's got a great name. That's the kind of thing you give a great name to.
Oh yeah,
pina colada ginger beer.
Yeah, but like I said, you don't see many ginger beer companies, but I have to give them a shout out because they're doing some good stuff.
I do love that. So you said you're just south of the main city there in Birmingham, right? Pretty much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what's it like? I guess it's hard to say with COVID times. It's different, but like, you've been down there for quite some time. You born and bred down in Alabama?
I'm born and raised here. Yeah, I was born and raised in Alabama. So
does that mean you're an Auburn fan, or what's that mean?
No. Funny thing is, though, I'm a big Roll Tide fan, so I'm a big Alabama fan. But when we started doing Eating Alabama and we really started getting out and about, we ended up falling in love with the city of Auburn because their food scene is really it's probably second best to Birmingham. I mean, Birmingham to me is number one.
Right.
And you got Mobile and Auburn kind of sitting there, kind of neck and neck. But they're a small, college town, but they have a phenomenal food scene down there. Some great chefs and just great cuisine.
So let's see. I'll ask this first, just because you're from Alabama, and I'm not into college football, but everyone who knows anything knows Roll Tide. Everyone knows Alabama and Auburn is the
You will hear
thing.
that.
What is the thing? Like, what is this? Just a born and bred thing, or you just when you're born, you're Team Bama and that's it, and you go
That's
fight?
pretty much it. You know,
Because I know
and
everything that I read about Alabama is y'all love football down there, and football
Yes.
is everything from when you're a kid.
Football is king.
Football is it, and it's kind of the only state that I've seen so far. Well, that I've looked into a football that loves it so much like that. So tell me a little bit
Yeah.
about what the culture of that football scene is like.
Yeah, well, I mean, it starts Friday Night Lights, man. You know, it's a high school football, and really, you know, Alabama being a place. You know, you always hear the rivalries, Alabama and Auburn. You hear, you know, Michigan, Ohio State, you know, USC, UCLA. But you know, to me, what sets Alabama and Auburn apart is you go to these other, you know, colleges that I announced. They all have pro teams. You know, whether it be a pro football and be NFL, or whether they have, you know, baseball or football teams. In Alabama, that's all we have. You know, it's just college football. And so I think that's really what kind of separates us from the rest, because, you know, that again, like you said, you know, you're either born, you know, crimson and white or orange and blue. You know, that's where it's fun. It can get kind of crazy, but it's always fun to kind of rag each other and, you know, have a good traditions and, you know, just good all around, you know, just good times.
I read something that some crazy Auburn fan apparently poisoned some ancient tree.
No.
Is this a real story? Are we going down a rabbit hole?
This is legit, and it's an Alabama fan. So,
okay.
So yeah, this guy, and this is one of those where, you know, nobody really will claim this guy, but unfortunately, I say he's passed away in the past several years. But he ended up doing some time. You know, Auburn has a tradition down there. They call it Toomer's Corner, and they have these old trees down there.
Okay.
And we always make fun of them because they take toilet paper and they TP their own trees after, you know, if it's really any win. I mean, when they do big basketball wins or
nothing like winning a game and throwing toilet paper all over your local tree.
Yes. But
What the hell are you doing down there in Alabama?
So,
That's not how you celebrate, y'all.
And of course, you know, with all the TP craze going on, a lot of Alabama fans had some fun with it this year because, you know, Auburn was having some struggles. So they were like, well, you know, TP shortage, so didn't have to worry about that down in Auburn. So, but yeah, this guy who called into a national radio show, the Paul Feinbaum show, and he said he was going to do it. He said he was going to go down there, or he already did it, or something.
And like poison a tree, right? Poison one of these old ancient trees or something.
Down there, and he said it on the show that he did it, and I think enough people believed him to go test the grounds down to that tree, and sure enough, they ended up having I don't know if it was two of them or one of them, but yeah, that's how deep a rivalry goes in this state.
But I tell you what. I'm not crossing any people from Alabama anytime soon. You got them poisoned trees.
Yeah, poisoned the tree, and he served time. I mean, he was in jail for several years. So
savage. That's some savage shit.
You know,
all right, well, you know, respect the Alabama culture. That's for sure. Don't be dissing on them trees or your
watch
team.
out, crazy ass.
That's for sure. Damn. All right. So again, what I wanted to get, I didn't want to get off on football. I'm trying to stay on food and drink, but excited to talk to. Like I said, I love doing this because it's talking to someone. Like if I was in Alabama hanging out with you at a bar, like this is what it feels like. Oh no, we lose you. Oh, I lost your video for some reason.
Yeah, I mean,
I see. There you are. Cool. Just like we were hanging out in Alabama, just meeting people. Like that's what I miss. So it's like it's cool to do this. So again, thanks for doing this, dude. Super appreciate it.
Yeah, man, I'm glad.
But let me ask you this: like, so pre-COVID, if we could even remember those times, what was the food scene like? At least around by you, or like somewhere that was super cool by you, like up here in New Jersey and in New York, especially. In New York, kind of doesn't count because that's like its own different world. But like, there's these little towns that have like these vibrant little food scenes that are popping up and. A lot of the farm to table stuff, which is almost getting, I think every kind of city has that kind of movement and everyone's sick of hearing that word. But like that was like coming up and being like a big thing. And now, a lot of these restaurants are just, they're on their heels and just trying to stay alive in COVID. Yeah. And that's the whole country. We all know that. But tell me a little bit about like what's the food like down there in general, I guess, or like what, what's your normal going out on a Friday night pre-COVID at a restaurant or a bar or a pub, or what's the vibe?
Yeah, I mean, Alabama has got a lot of diversity in it in itself, just because of a lot of people just think of Alabama as just being Southern people, and for the most part, it is. And I will pause
you there. That's definitely what everyone in New Jersey thinks. When I told anyone I was doing Alabama, they're like, "Oh, you're just talking to Alabama man. That's just going to be it. You're going to talk to Alabama man and hang out."
No, but the thing about Alabama is that, again, going back regionally, you've got a lot. We'll just take Birmingham for instance. It's a big medical field. There's UAB, which is a big medical school here, and then UAB Medical Center they got a lot of research centers and stuff, AIDS and cancer research centers that are top of the line. So that has brings in
a lot of businesses.
Yeah, it's brought in, but not just that. You're talking like Indian food, because now a lot of people, Indians came in, to go to school, and now so we've got some really good Indian foods, and Birmingham has had some great Lebanese,
Lebanese food.
Greek. Greek is one of those things that goes all the way back to the 1900s in Birmingham, and really, Greek food kind of was right there with that Southern cuisine, especially in like the big cities like Birmingham.
I guess there was like a big Greek influx in the early 1900s, maybe down there.
For whatever reason, I don't know if it was the steel industry or what, but there's a lot of Greek families, and they kind of settled on these meat and threes, which
that's a big thing. Yeah.
Yes, it's a big thing. We've got one Ted's that is absolutely to die for. It's one of my favorite places.
Ted's, huh? What is Ted's?
Ted's. It's just a meat and three, like I said, and they take these old Greek recipes and then they mix it with your soul food and Southern cuisine. So you can get a Greek fish and some
Ted's
green beans.
Ted's Birmingham.
Yeah, Ted's is it's one of our favorites.
I'm pulling up the menu right now. I just want to look at it while you talk about it. Oh man.
Yeah, but they do a great job. Again, if people are not familiar with meat and threes, they basically the menu changes. You may have 3 or 4 or 5 meats on Monday, and it'll change from Tuesday to Wednesday to Thursday to Friday.
Texas Pete hot sauce. Is that what you guys use for hot sauce down there? Sorry, I just saw a picture.
I use Crystal.
Crystal, you're a Crystal boy. That's good.
I'm a Crystal guy. So, I mean that's kind of Ted's is real big. Another one is Nicky's West, which is another kind of meat and three. Johnny's is kind of crazy because Tim Hanses, who is the chef there, has actually been nominated for a James Beard Award. But other than that, like I said, you get pockets of just Vietnamese food, and
like this is the kind of stuff that I think is great because, like, again, like, and I'm glad we're talking again. I can't thank you for coming on because this just makes me happy to even like see the menus of these places that I would never even think about. Like that's so cool to me. Like I feel like we're just chatting and you're telling me about these great places to go eat. And I look at this menu, I'm like, damn, all I want to do is go eat. I want to eat, 2 and 6. I want to eat everything on that menu and just pick everything down.
And just pick it, yeah.
That's super. That's great. So that's a big thing down at the meat and threes. And he's like, it looks like reading some of the menus, it looks almost like up here, the only thing I can bounce it off of is like we have so many diners in New Jersey.
Yeah. They're real similar to a diner.
They're really Greek owned and operated, but we have instead of like a meat and three kind of vibe, they just have a menu with everything on it, and you could just get whatever you want. But it's the same kind of vibe.
Some of those good diners, you go in there and you just get overwhelmed because it's like
it's too much.
A telephone book.
I don't need a telephone book. Just give me like 5 things. I'll just pick one. I don't need, come on.
And that's the beauty to a meat and three because, like I said, normally if you go in there on Monday, they're only going to have 4 or 5.
Not much to pick from. I think
then maybe a dozen different sides, and that's it.
I really feel that after this COVID stuff in general, again, I don't know how it is down there. We could talk about that, but I really feel the restaurant game is going to start shifting into that kind of world because there was talk about that before. Because I've been doing stuff for restaurants for a couple years now. There was talk about it before where they were in an effort to reduce waste at all these restaurants. You don't have this huge menu. None of the diner menus are ridiculous, but even a normal menu in a normal restaurant that you would like, the amount of waste is huge because you have all this shit. You got to offer 12, 15 entrees. Yep. There was a discussion, at least in the cities at the time, which is where the stuff starts. It always trickles down about limiting your options and being like, here's what you're getting tonight, and if you want it, come and get it, and if you don't, beat it, and that's it.
Hey, I'm a huge fan of that.
Me too, man. And you're limiting the waste. You're really letting the kitchen staff focus on making those things great.
That's it.
And to me, that's
quality,
what I want.
Not quantity.
Totally, dude. If you want a diner, okay, I'm sure they'll still exist, but I think the shift, especially post-COVID, is going to be more that way. It's going to be more, here's what we're making, and this is it. And when people go, why don't you make this thing I liked anymore? They're going to go, that's not what we do. And you know what? It'll be here maybe next week. Who could say?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the chefs that I've had on, or the industry that I've had on my podcast, it's, when we talk about that stuff, a lot of the stuff that's been big has been like the family packages of food, where you can order and just go pick up. And obviously, everybody that I've had on says that the curbside is here to stay. I mean, that's something that's.
They had to pivot into that as a business model, and there's now if you're operating that way, there's no reason to really get rid of it because it's a lot
really
of good.
Not. I mean,
it's a lot of good money.
So well.
It's a lot of good money coming in, and you're operating that way. So now you got to really figure out how to integrate your other business that you used to have. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
it's a really crazy time for restaurants. I mean, they got super screwed in this whole COVID
It really
thing.
is, and I've always,
service industry,
like I said, I've had a couple of guys on, and they've kind of had the same mindset. It's been frustrating for them, but they've also kind of looked at the positives of it, and how it can change the industry, and what are some things that going forward that that can make things better. You know? So you always kind of got to look at that way.
For sure. No, definitely. You always have to look at the positive. There's always something good to take from it. Like I said, at the end, fast forward, hopefully we all look back and laugh about it. Like you can't just sit and sulk all the time.
Remember that day.
One day we'll laugh again, right, guys?
We're getting there.
So I guess plug Eating Alabama a little bit. Then I'll ask you something else about this food I got here. So tell us a little bit about your cast. I was poking around the site a little bit, talking it up. I see you got the podcast. My friend just linked your podcast in the chat here. But sell the sizzle. Tell us about it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Eating Alabama, we started it probably in, I'd say 2017 is when we actually kicked it off. My wife, Jennifer, as we travel, we have daughters that play travel softball for years. They're no longer.
They don't play football. Okay, just checking.
Yeah, they play travel softball for years. So we did a lot of traveling all over the state and really all over the Southeast. And, anytime we travel, my wife also travels for her work. She's a government employee by day. And when she does travel, we're the type of people that are going to go to local places. I can't tell you the last time I've been to a box chain restaurant. I mean, seriously, it's anytime we'd go to a softball tournament, the parents were going to like a Logan's or something like that. I'm like, well, I'll see y'all tomorrow to go.
What is a Logan's? Hold on, man. That's definitely a regional thing. What is a Logan's?
It's a steakhouse. It's a steakhouse chain, Logan Steakhouse. So,
okay. We got Outback up here. I don't think we have a Logan's.
Place, so
I hear you. I mean, I got that, but I never even heard of it. See, now, if I was down there and I saw Logan's, I'd be like, I want to try the local chain steak.
No, I'll admit that because, like I said, my wife does travel for her job, and I'll tag along with her. And when we do go out to somewhere like Denver or Chicago or somewhere like that, if there is a local chain,
you kind of want to check it out.
I want to experience.
I get for the same reason I think like doing this is cool. I think it's cool to just because it absorbs you a little bit in what. This chain is this regional chain of this thing. It's like, put me in there. Let's just see what's going on. This will give me a little taste of the flavor.
Why is it good?
Yeah, why is this something that works? Why does this work, Why is every steak covered in Montreal steak seasoning? Is that what you do here? Okay, is that what you like? That's okay. If that's what you like down here, that's fine. I'm not judging. Just, want to know. I just want to know.
Gotta know what you like.
It's cool though.
But So that's kind of how we kicked it off. It was just our love for food. We've always traveled to do food. We will find restaurants and go out of our way to check them out. So so Eating Alabama was born. I've always loved podcasting.
Nice. You've been doing it for like almost 2 years now, right?
Yes. So we just wrapped up season 2 of the podcast, and we're planning for season 3. Hopefully March is kind of my kickoff kind of area, what I'm shooting for. But that's kind of it in a nutshell. I just I love hearing people's stories. I love chatting, as you can see.
Yeah, dude.
The podcast is really what I like to do is just sit down with mainly Alabama people. I have had some non-Alabama people on, but just people that are either food and beverage, industry people.
Focus, right?
Yeah, I've had a few bloggers on that do, so similar to what we do, and just kind of, hear their story. I mean, I really like to hear a chef, where he came from, what inspired him.
I love it, yeah.
What got them going, and then, hear about their journey into where they are today.
Hospitality
that's kind of what the podcast is.
That's great, dude, and I hope people check it out. Like, hospitality is such an interesting and strange industry because,
it really is.
You serve others. and when you're in it, you spite the people and you love the people, and it's like it's such a weird thing, man. And like, there's really nothing like it, and that's why I think people get so hooked in it, because it's like there's nothing like it. The feeling is, if I'm cooking for you at my house, there's nothing better than giving you some food I made. Same thing in a restaurant, serving food that is delicious to someone is like a good, even if in that moment you're miserable about some bullshit that happened in the back, whatever it is.
Oh yeah,
there's always that gratifying feeling of that, and that's what I think what keeps people in it. The weird dysfunctional world of hospitality.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and that's the beautiful thing about good food, and like you said, just sitting down, and doesn't matter, how bad a day, what's been going on through your life. Everybody's got to eat, and so to be able to sit down, and enjoy good food, just really kind of check out for an hour or so of your time in your life, and just
unifies.
Talk with somebody.
It unifies.
There you go. And eat some good food. That's what it's all about.
Well, that's great. I mean, that would be a great ending of our conversation, but I have to talk to you about Alabama white sauce.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, because we didn't really touch on barbecue.
No, we got to.
Which is another big Alabama thing.
Right. So now, tell me a little bit, before we even get into the white sauce, tell me about, because I'm sure that's a big part of the Alabama barbecue, but tell me about Alabama barbecue, because I know about North Carolina barbecue, South Carolina barbecue, the different Carolinas, Texas barbecue. Everyone's got their own regional stuff, but I do not know anything I know about Alabama that I've ever read about barbecue. Only says Alabama white sauce on smoked chicken. Next story. Like, that's all they tell you. But I'm sure there's more
Alabama
to it.
Really is kind of in that strange area when it comes to the barbecue regions, because I think we take a little bit from everybody. We take some of that vinegar-based sauce that you get from the Carolinas. We take some of that spicy Memphis type stuff, and it's just it's kind of a amalgamation of the region, you know. And I think that and even in that, North Alabama barbecue differs from South Alabama barbecue.
Sure.
So, it's just kind of one of those things where, it just varies really. And it all depends on how a region is, how people are raised in that region, why ribs are bigger than pork.
So,
or chicken,
Is chicken a big thing is the biggest thing in Alabama? Because I know, if you talk Texas barbecue, you talk beef. You talk North Carolina, South Carolina, they're all about the pork shoulders and pulled pork.
Chicken is a big thing, but it's still pulled pork. It's still ribs. Those are two. You don't see a lot of beef. We do have one restaurant down in South Alabama that's a Texas style beef restaurant.
Right.
It's called Bow and Arrow. It's actually in Auburn, and it's really good, and it's different, but the majority of it's going to be just your pulled pork, ribs and chicken.
But we could say the chicken is like at least the thing. Like if
everybody's got chicken pretty much.
Right. So most places aren't. I mean, everyone's got chicken at like other barbecue places. Like in Texas, everyone's going to have a chicken, but no one really cares about chicken there. You're there for the brisket, and then everything else is secondary.
Yes.
Maybe one place got a better rib, but you're there for the beef. I would feel like in Alabama, I'm trying to try the chicken. And chicken, I always get one of the things I always try to do at a barbecue place, I go, number one is eat everything, right? But number two,
I do. Yeah.
I like to try the turkey if they have it, or chicken.
Yes.
Because it's a very difficult thing to do. So if I try your turkey or chicken, I'm not saying this is going to be the greatest in the world. It doesn't have to be. But if you can give me that and it's juicy and tasty, you're telling me that you're putting a lot of care. Because most places are just going to take those white meat chickens and turkeys and poultries that easily get super dried out.
Yeah.
Put them on the side, and when someone orders them, just throw them in and cover them in sauce. But if you give me something that's really good, you're telling me a lot with that. That's how I look at places.
You take the time to slow cook it instead of just kind of throw it on the grill and just get have chicken on your menu. Yeah,
right. And a lot of places just do that because some people I don't eat meat. All right, well I don't eat beef, whatever, pork, whatever it is. That happens. So I did. So that brings us to white sauce. Right? So Alabama white sauce is definitely uniquely Alabama. Every other state that does barbecue in a big way, they could argue their color of sauce, mustard, red, yellow, whatever. It's all kind of the same shit at the end of the day. It's a different balance. It's literally a different ratio of either ketchup, vinegar, whatever it is in secret sauces. But there's no question that the Alabama white sauce is a uniquely Alabama thing.
That is right.
This one I got.
Can argue over that red sauce, but we gave the world the white sauce.
Ain't nobody claiming the white sauce. So this one I got is Lily Q's Ivory barbecue sauce. I don't know how this rates in the world of the white sauces you could buy in a bottle. I know this is.
I'm familiar with Lily Q's. They're out of Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
It says it's a Northern Alabama sauce. I don't know where they're from.
Yeah.
I assumed it was the only one I could find I could get packaged that doesn't have like a bunch of garbage in it.
I gotta get you the real
Yes, you're right. It's
White
distributed
Sauce,
by Lily Q's North Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. You are right.
Okay, yeah. I thought they were. I was, like I said, I'd heard of them in the barbecue.
Yeah, Lily Q. What's his name? Something Lily, Chris Lily or something. I think he's involved. In any event, so I got it here, and I was trying it on its own, and again, trying on its own, it almost tastes like a salad dressing. I don't know if you've had this one, and tell me.
I've not had that one.
Right, but maybe I'm sure every place is different. I'm sure the one you make is different. This tastes almost like a salad dressing, but you said put it on some chicken, so I went and got some smoked wings from a place over here.
Perfect.
So I doused it on a wing and ate it, and then it made more sense. Like the whole thing kind of came together a little bit more. Because on its own, it was like creamy and vinegary, and I was like, okay, like I get it, but I don't really want to dip my fries in it. But I got these just dry, just smoked. These are just smoked wings from a place down the street from me. And the wings are whatever. I'm not trying to judge the wing, but with the sauce, I can see how it works. So tell me a little bit about white barbecue sauce and I don't know, the way you guys use it really in Alabama while I eat one of these wings.
Yeah, no. So white barbecue sauce originated. I can't even speak right now. Imagine that, a podcaster can't speak. But it started Big Bob Gibson Barbecue, which is in Decatur. It is about halfway between Birmingham and Huntsville, right off of I-65. And I say halfway, it's maybe closer to Huntsville. Anyways, so Big Bob Gibson, he apparently, I don't know the reasoning why, but he came up with this sauce around 1920s, 25 or so, and basically just doused it on his chicken every time he would cook it. And it's a vinegar-based sauce, and really it's vinegar and mayonnaise are the two prominent things, and a lot of pepper. And
vinegar. So, this is definitely peppery and vinegary, and the mayonnaise.
That's kind of the thing.
Mayo also has some vinegar in it, or some acid at least.
Yeah, it's got definitely has some vinegar and acid in it, but it's heavily vinegar. Again, salt, peppers is kind of the primaries. Lemon juice, that's probably what most everybody puts in it. That's it. Then you always have these kind of, cayenne pepper. Some people put in it. Some people put horseradish in it to kind of, just kind of give it some more bite.
This one's got a pinch of cayenne. It says I'm not getting a lot of spice. But I've seen them basting, on a huge smoker cooker. Yeah. They'll be basting these chickens with this sauce, and it kind of makes sense to me. It just hit me as we were talking about basting it in a mayo-based kind of sauce because, one of the cheats of a grilled cheese would be instead of using butter, use mayo, and you get this great browning. So maybe you get this beautiful color from that kind of mayo. So maybe that's where it came from. I don't know. I'm just shooting the shit, but it is tasty with the smoke, because the fat content of it kind of works with it, and there's no other barbecue sauce that has fat content. It's all sugar, sweet, salt, vinegar, acid. There's no fat. So it does make sense to have that creamy, even though it looks weird and kind of doesn't make sense in a weird way, but it is delicious.
It is. A lot of people that aren't familiar with it does kind of hit them wrong, but it works. I mean, it's just kind of one of those weird things that just works, and it's really, over the years and decades, it's taken off. And you see, like you said, that, Chicago, they've got an Alabama white sauce. I've been in a restaurant in Denver, Colorado, and they offered Alabama white sauce. I
work in a restaurant in New Jersey, and they have an Alabama white sauce on a chicken dish they have. They just give it with a Alabama sauce, and it's like, everyone goes, what is that? And I was like, I don't know, imagine a white. It's just good. You're going to like it, dude. If you're ordering the chicken, you're going to just shut up and eat it. You're going to love it. Yeah. Stop asking.
Give it a shot.
Yeah.
But that's, we use it on the chicken. That's pretty much it. I have seen some restaurants that may offer it with on ribs, kind of a mix with the
ribs.
Red sauce.
See, that's interesting because to me, it makes a lot of sense with chicken because chicken's lean compared to other barbecue. So you're adding this fat kind of vibe. Not that it's fatty, but maybe when you cook it, it gets a little oily. Maybe it does add an oily thing when it's hot. I don't know, but that almost, the flavor makes, the mouthfeel makes sense where it's just creamier and fattier. Yeah. Whereas an acid-based or vinegar-based sauce is just adding exactly what you want with a fatty pork rib, right? You want to cut it with the acid.
Cut it with that, yeah.
So this adds what you would want to a chicken. So it kind of makes total sense when you think about it. It's just a little off-putting, by the look when you say, here's your barbecue sauce, and it's white and black. You're like, what?
White sauce,
this doesn't make sense. What are you talking about, dude? This is some kind of weird salad dressing. It's like ranch dressing. What are you talking about? Yeah. But this is the only one I could find that was all natural and didn't have a bunch of shit in it. So I was like, this is probably close at least to something. I don't know.
Yeah. But again,
it's not bad.
They sell that Big Bob Gibson's in the store. So, yeah, I that's what I need to get you.
I got to get some Big Bob Gibson's then. I'll tell you what, I'll make a New Jersey care package. I'll send it to you. Send me an Alabama care package.
I will be more than happy to do that.
That's the move. That's what we do. And then we have a recoup episode where we just consume all the stuff together. It's fun.
I'm all about that.
That's what's fun. Well, I don't want to hold you up, dude. I mean, I can sit here and
No,
talk for
dude,
hours and stuff, but
I'm here, as long as you want to talk. Like I told you before, I'm a talker, so my podcast sometimes run 2 hours.
I mean, this is great, dude. So, I mean, tell me a little bit more, again, like bring me back into like Bama, like, I don't know, like, let's say like Birmingham culture a little bit, like in the city. So like, I'm trying to think of like a city near me. Like, I live in New Jersey, right? Central Jersey, where there's no huge cities like New York. New York's there.
Yeah.
I could get to New York in an hour. Yeah. But my local cities are, bigger towns. Yeah. I'll roll in, you park the car, and I can go walk around. I can hit 2 or 3 bars, have a couple drinks, go eat dinner, and then make my way home and have a good time. And now, sadly, a lot of those places aren't there anymore. But like,
right,
what kind of like when you go out? What's a big thing to drink there? Like when you go out to drink in town, what are people drinking out there?
Well, bourbon is a big thing. I mean,
bourbon's a big thing. It's
always been a big Southern thing. Bourbon's just kind of one of those. Just about every bar you go to, they're going to have very high quality bourbon.
What kind of are people just drinking straight up bourbon on the rocks? Are they getting cocktails with it? Or any kind of combination of it?
It's a mix, but the majority of, especially the circle that I run with, they're purist.
Right.
It's either on the rocks or neat. We
would be great friends, Nick. I think we'd be great friends.
yeah, no doubt. So
yeah, I would just give me that goodness on the rocks, and we're good. And
that's why I'm 46 now, so I've had to drink more on the rocks now than I used to because it's and I have to take a Pepsi prior.
Yeah, well, you don't want all the filler. The filler doesn't help. You learn quickly getting older that your filler don't help.
Yeah, exactly.
What about the beers? You talked about the craft beers that are there, but like, what's like like when people go out around here, they want. People want Budweiser or Coors, right? But around here, at least regionally, people ask for like a Yingling, which is like a Pennsylvania-based.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, it's around the country, I'm sure, at this point. But like, that's like a thing. So what about down there? Like, what's the beer? In I know in Pittsburgh, there's like Iron City. There's everyone's got their own kind of big beer that's in that area.
I mean, I think the majority of people here really have concentrated on that craft beer, so it's always been the locals more than anything.
Well, that's cool.
But, I mean, as far as just a regional, Coors has always been.
Coors is the big boy? Coors goes Light,
I would
something
think,
like that?
especially with a lot of the guys that I hang with. I mean, that's always been kind of their go-to.
Right.
If they're going for more of a national type brand.
Yeah, it's always interesting because sometimes you need that. Sometimes it's okay to have that, but I'm always wondering where some places there's no. I was in a band for a while. We toured all around, and then you go to these other states, and you'd show up and go to the bar and be like, they don't have. I don't really like drinking Coors or Bud. If I'm going to drink any of that, I'm not being a beer snob. I just don't like Coors or Bud Light. It doesn't taste good to me. Like I just dislike it.
I'm with you.
Yeah, like it just doesn't taste good to me. I'd rather drink High Life. Like Miller High Life to me tastes better. Like I'd rather have that. A lot of places in the Midwest and stuff have that. Like you can get a High Life randomly, and around here it's kind of harder. It's almost like a hipstery thing around here if you want to get a High Life. Like you spend $5 on a High Life.
I think for here, because we don't really have that regional kind of thing like you would say in St. Louis or New Jersey, where the big or Milwaukee, where the big breweries are.
Yeah.
A lot of it's just, like I said, it's more concentrated on the craft scene. And,
right.
And, people like to buy local stuff.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's good that's how it is down there, because I don't think everywhere is like that. Like a lot of places are not so craft focused.
Right.
So I think anywhere outside of a city, like you are, that's kind of how it is, and I think that's going to be a repeating theme, which is super cool and good to see.
Yeah, no doubt.
What about what else is cool out there with food? Like what's like a super regional dish? Like if you're gonna be cooking, I don't know, what's like a give me like an Alabama dish that you would get at like a family meal, or like you're gonna bring to a friend's, or something you would commonly cook. Like what would it be?
I mean, most families, if you're talking about people born in the state of Alabama or in the South in general, it's usually gonna be your soul food type stuff. It's gonna be chicken and dumplings, fried chicken, pork chops, greens. We have in the South, and especially, I'll obviously brag on Alabama, we have some of the best purveyors of vegetation and around. I mean, we really have, a lot of the local restaurants really go to get to the farmers market and, get those local purveyors because it's just really good.
There's a lot of good local farmers around there. I didn't realize that.
There's a lot of good. There's
That's
you know,
great.
just when you get south of Birmingham, kind of southwest, you get into like where they call the Black Belt region of Alabama, which is kind of a rural area. They are poor, you know, not quite, you know, as wealthy as the South, if you will.
Sure.
But they are the ones who have a lot of land and found some seeds and grow some really good stuff, and the dirt is just, you know, it's that Alabama, you know, Alabama dirt. It's just really rich in vitamins and just, you know, grows some just great vegetables.
I love that. I would never think of I mean, every state obviously has some kind of like growing farm populace, right? But I would never think of Alabama as being focused on that. And again, that would just be foolish of me. Obviously, every place has, you know, everyone's growing some shit, you know, somewhere. In New Jersey, a bit. I'll tell you, a big
somewhere.
Yes, so you gotta grow something. A big thing that's around by me, at least, is there's some low grade farms that do outdoor growing and stuff that's super seasonal. But a big thing that I see taking off here in the past couple of years is hydroponic growing. And I don't know how that is down there. They're doing a lot of indoor growing. These places are getting like warehouses, and they're just, you know, creating these crazy hydroponic indoor grow rooms where they can make all these lettuces, microgreens, you know, kind of everything. Yeah. And then they sell it to restaurants.
We do have downtown Birmingham. There is a microgreen place that pretty much, you know, handles a lot of the high-end restaurants with their microgreens.
Yeah, because it's super consistent.
And green vegetation.
Yeah, it's a super consistent thing that I think, you know, restaurants obviously want to see, and they could, weather doesn't affect it and all that. So it makes sense in a business standpoint, because you could say, I know how many greens I'm going to have because, you know, I don't care if it snows or rain. You know, I control the whole building. You know, I can make it. I know how it works. Yeah. So that's something I see picking up over here for sure. And, there, you know, you pay a premium for it over here. But, you know, in the restaurant world,
it's worth it.
Yeah. I mean, for that consistency and that kind of deliciousness, it is worth it.
And that's the thing, you know, going back to like the South Alabama region where you talk about, you know, for you guys, you know, you guys see a lot of snow, you guys see a lot of cold, and and the temperament, you know, of that region just kind of bodes well for good crops. And so that's, you know, that's one of the reasons why they can put some really good crops out. And you know, Dothan, Alabama is a big peanut industry. It's one of the largest peanut industries in the nation.
Love me some peanuts.
And so that's, you know, again, you just have, going back to what I said earlier with the food and like the barbecue, every region kind of has their own specialty in the state of Alabama. It's, you know, it's a small state, but a big state at the same time. And,
how would you break up the state, you know, in your personal opinion? Because like I would tell you, New Jersey, you know, people always say there's North Jersey, South Jersey, you know, and that's how people argue here. It's like, oh, you're from South Jersey. And then they say that's like Philadelphia and stuff. Like, if you're not from around here, you wouldn't even get it. But, like, that's like a thing here. But as someone who literally lives in the dead center of the state, and I've been to North Jersey and spent some time, and I've been to South Jersey and spent some time, it's wildly different. So there is most definitely a North Jersey, which is like closer to being like in New York. Like, it's a faster kind of pace. Especially the Northeast Jersey, that borders New York, is very much New York focused. It's very much New York people because they work in New York, or at least used to, and now travel back and forth, you know. And then Central Jersey is a big mix of all the people from point to point, from east to west New Jersey, who just live there and either work in the city or in New Jersey. The more west you go, the more farmland there is, the more open space there is, and the more east you go, the more closer to like New York it is, the more like New York it is. Now, I'm not saying this is like New York where I am, but it's more populous. This is more people, and the more west you go, the more the more spaced out shit is. And then when you go to the south of South Jersey, it's more it's Atlantic City, and then on the southwest side of it, it's Pennsylvania and Philadelphia, and that's kind of the vibe that you get in the southwest New Jersey. So I would break New Jersey up in a north, central, south New Jersey as almost being three different types of people. You could take someone from the middle of the north, what I would consider North Jersey, someone from the middle of Central Jersey, and someone from the middle of South Jersey, and they would be three different types of people.
Three different types of people.
So,
yeah.
like, what is Alabama like in that sense? As someone who's lived there, like, is it something similar to that? Is there like a lot of different regions? Like,
there's not really that many when you start breaking it down. I mean, you have the northern region, which is in the Huntsville area.
Like, is your southeast Florida type people there? Since you you got some crazy Florida people to your
that would be the big separation. Would be like I said, North Alabama's kind of like the foot of the Appalachians, so you get some of those mountain people.
I was gonna say, so that's got to be a whole different kind of world, because everything you said so far is south of Birmingham, South Alabama. So I would have to assume that everything kind of north of Birmingham might be a whole different world up there.
Yeah,
in a way.
And really, when you get down to the Mobile area and like I said, the Gulf, that's when you start kind of getting into those beach,
right?
The beaches, the South Alabama, what we call LA, Lower Alabama. A lot of those, Mobile was kind of really a sister to New Orleans. I mean, it's kind of got the same vibe. It's got the Spanish and
Creole, the whole vibe,
French
all that
influence. Yeah, and they're actually the home of the first Mardi Gras.
I didn't know that. Mobile was that?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's where first Mardi Gras kicked off, and
then they partied all the way to New Orleans, just crashed there, and that's where it lives now.
Much, yeah. So like I said, when you get down there, that they are different. They got a different vibe than say in Central Alabama, which if you start breaking it out, really it's North Alabama, the Birmingham area, because anybody that's in the central part of Alabama, 9 times out of 10, if they go to another state or whatever, they're going to say they're from Birmingham, even though they may be 30 or 45 miles away from it.
Right. Well, it's the most identifiable spot, right? Like so.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, that's kind of it. I mean, but for the most part, Alabamians are kind of similar and all the same.
Right.
A lot of people are, especially when you get into the rural parts of the state, they go back generations and generations. They've their family, property and stuff like that, maybe 200 or 300 years old. Who knows?
Right.
It's they're planted, and then when you get into the cities, is when you start getting like Huntsville, for instance. They're a big. Called the Rocket City. They have NASA and the
Huntsville. That's where I had on my notes. That was where the first space rocket they launched.
Yes,
out of Huntsville, Alabama. So you got some good science credentials behind you, even though it was like some Nazi scientists we stole from Germany.
In Huntsville, you get some more, several good German restaurants, because that kind of was the influx of the Germans that came in.
Yeah,
during the early days of NASA.
That's what I was reading about. So in Huntsville, the first rocket that went off, whenever it was, forever ago, the first test rocket, whatever, NASA, it was from an ex-Nazi that we stole from the war. I don't know, we kidnapped him, whatever it was.
Werner von Braun.
Werner von Braun. Yes, indeed. That's why I wrote his name down.
Yeah.
So he's super Nazi dude. He probably just got drunk and thought about the old times a lot, I'm sure. Yeah. But like whatever, like he probably came, which means there's probably a lot of German people behind him. There's a lot of places like that after World War II where they get this huge influx of German people because they're like, I'm just trying to get out of here. I'm trying to not be a Nazi. Can I just get, help me out here, guy? So that's interesting.
Help you if you just help
just help me out. Come on, we're gonna make some great sausages. Check out Schnitzel. It's real cool. I got it. So they rolled up. So you're saying down there's like a German populace? That's super interesting. That in Huntsville,
like I said, there's a small German population in
Huntsville.
Cool. And Huntsville being like one of the leading tech industries,
super science focused kind of area.
Yeah, so you've had a lot of influx over the years of various people coming in, and that was one thing I talked about to a fellow food blogger. Just on a side note, we were just kind of talking food, and they are still kind of, the Huntsville area is still kind of finding their niche, if you will, in the food industry. They've got some good restaurants up there, but they really haven't found it because and my theory was because there's just so many different people that are coming in from say up north, they're coming from out west, or coming from they're all coming in, and it's just kind of for instance, Montgomery brought in the Hyundai plant several years ago. Mm-hmm. Well, now they have a nice little K-town, in a small neighborhood in Montgomery.
Because that whole crew came over.
Huntsville, you're bringing so many different people in. Nobody's really kind of established, say, like the Germans did back in
Well, it's different 50s, times 60s. Now, right?
Right. So when it comes to cuisine, they're kind of all over the place. Where like Birmingham cuisine is kind of getting a little more refined, you know, and kind of taken a little bit from some of the bigger cities.
Right.
They still, you know, still have a lot to growing to do. Birmingham does, but they're still, you know, doing great. And then, like you said, when you get down to the Gulf, that's where it's seafood country right there. You know, they got some of the greatest oysters. Burger Point Oysters is a world-renowned oyster farm down there. You know,
some oysters.
To me, you know, Gulf shrimp is some of the best stuff on the planet.
No question. That wild Gulf shrimp, those pink shrimp or whatever they get from there.
Yeah, they have Royal Reds. That's
what it is. The Royal Reds. That's it. Sorry,
Reds,
I knew it was a color.
Catch them when they're in season. It's, you know, they're fat, plump, and
those are something
absolutely phenomenal. So yeah,
doing something in the water down there. That's for sure.
Yeah, deep in the water.
Something deep in the water. And it ain't the oil spill. It's something else.
Yes.
Remember that? That was a shame.
Oh yeah, that's probably one of the reasons why those Royal Reds were doing so well, because they were so deep they weren't able to.
Weird.
Able to survive it.
It's a weird world we live in. Well, dude, this has been fun, dude. And I don't want to cut you off, but I don't want to go for it because I'll just go all night. So we got to stop it at some point.
I'm saying, I know we got to cut it off at some point in time.
So I'm going to cut it off. Dude, you are great. Thank you for representing the great state of Alabama, dude.
Thank you, Billy Vegas. I appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you, dude. Let's talk again.
I'll definitely be checking it out.
Dude, I thank you so much. I'm going to message you, and I'm definitely going to put together some kind of package of New Jersey bullshit and send it to you.
Yeah,
so
we need to do that, man. Do that. Message me.
I will definitely. I'll send you some local beers and some local goodness, or you know, whatever it is, and for sure, because this has been super fun, dude. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining and like chatting with us, man. Love you, brother. Be good, man. Be safe.
Right. You too.
Good night, brother. Aw, man. How cool was that shit? How cool was that? We talked to a real Alabamian. Eating Alabama. Come on. Represent Eating Alabama. Give it up. Nick from Eating Alabama joining the program, telling us everything about Alabama. I could have talked to him for hours. He was super cool. That's my kind of dude. That's the kind of guy that made me so happy inside my soul. Because like that's what I really kind of want the show to be. Like I felt like I was hanging out with him at a bar. He was telling me his favorite restaurants. He was telling me all about what it's like to be in Alabama, the regions and shit. I'm all about that. Like, that's what I kind of want this show to be week to week. And I'm trying to line up these kind of guests where we can talk and, like, kind of, you know, identify with and make like we're hanging out. And that felt great. I feel so elated that I could talk to someone super cool like Nick. So definitely check out his shit. Check out eatingalabama.net. Learn about Alabama. Go visit Alabama. Go talk to Nick and his wife down there. That's a cool dude, man. I'm ready to buy him a drink. I didn't even think about this. I guess I should have a care package or something, but I should definitely send him a nice New Jersey care package of good New Jersey goodness. What a super cool dude. That was so cool, man. That he was such a cool dude. It was so nice to talk to somebody from Alabama. And I don't think I cursed that much, which is pretty good. So, good job, dude. All right, so, I mean, he told us all about the Alabama white sauce and what it's for. What it's for is these wings. The wings are pretty good. Not gonna lie. And we learned together, we almost exposed together, that the thing that makes the most sense is the white sauce is to balance the leanness of a chicken. So you have this fatty sauce. You have this fatty sauce, which cuts the leanness, when usually you're eating fatty barbecue and cutting it with a sharp acidic sauce. Very cool. I'm sure if I sat around and thought about it, I could have thought about that, but it makes me very happy to have figured that out with my man Nick from Alabama. From Eating Alabama. What a great dude. That was so fun. I hope everybody enjoyed it. If people are here, whoever's watching live, we're going to take this show. So this is the first one, and this is the plan. We're going to take every show of every state. I'm going to bounce it out cut off the beginning and the end bullshit and put it on YouTube and Instagram for people to watch. Because that was super cool and, to me, super entertaining. Again, to me, look, I'll sit here and eat. I'm going to bring in stuff from every state and talk to you about what I think about these chips and this sauce and this whiskey and, you know, the booze I get or whatever, the food and the liquids and the solids that represent the state. But at a certain point, it's important to listen to the people and let them tell their truth and their story. To me, that's the most important thing, because if we're not listening to the people that are telling us their story and they live there, you know, we'll just call it a Billy Vegas show where I just sit here and rant about Alabama. I wrote a lot of great notes. I got to maybe half of them, but I don't want this to be a multi-hour thing. Maybe it will become that, but for the sake of YouTube and the sake of Instagram, I want to try to keep it tight. I could have talked with him all night. He was super fucking cool to talk to. What a great dude. I realized I cursed more in the last 4 minutes than I did all night, but I'm super stoked and it makes me very happy to have a guest like that. Super happy and appreciative to have viewers like you that are here watching. It makes it a lot easier when there's people that watch this and interact. It makes it a lot easier when you're watching and interacting than it is to just sit here alone and wonder who's watching. So I respect you guys. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining and watching. Let's play the terrible Sucrose House Montgomery. We're working on a theme song. We're working on an opening. We got a lot of production coming up. The whole show is going to be, you know, throughout the year, each show will get better and better. So this is the first one. If you enjoyed this, let's hope by the end of the year it gets a lot better. But I'm not mad about what happened. Let's take a look at the schedule real quick. Look at this. January 1st week, Alabama. Done, baby. Next week, Alaska. What the fuck? Really barren states. I mean, I got nothing to say about Alabama, but I'm glad I found somebody. Alaska, I'm crossing my fingers. I got a good guess for Alaska coming in, hopefully. I'm just going to lock them up. And then we're in Arizona, and then we're in Arkansas, and then we hit the seas, baby. California. Then we could talk. California's probably be a long episode. Colorado, I got family out there. They've been blowing me up about all kinds of shit. Connecticut, we might just have to go there. We ain't that far. Delaware, Florida, and Georgia. Fuck it. Let's take the show on the road. You know what I'm saying? But the bottom line is we did Alabama, baby. Bama is passed. We didn't even get into why the flag looks like the medieval times flag, but whatever. It's fine. Again, thanks everybody for joining. This has been super fun, and again, talking to him was super cool. So check out EatingAlabama.net. Check out his blog. He's Eating Alabama on Instagram. That man's eating. Him and his wife are eating all around Alabama and showcasing beautiful restaurants and chefs in Alabama, and super cool. So thank you guys so much for joining. Appreciate all you guys in the chat. Thank you all. Thank you. Peace. Please. Thank you. Y'all really great. So let's wrap this up. I'll see you next week. It's either going to be Tuesday or Wednesday. I wish I could tell you right now when it would be, because I'm trying to lock up the guests, so I'm giving them the opportunity. For Alaska, it's hard to sync these people for Alaska. You would think I would be ahead and have it all locked up. It's hard to find it's hard to lock down these Alaska people. I think it's hard to find someone in Alabama. It's hard to find someone in Alaska, okay? But I found a few. We're going to have one. I'm going to sip on this Clyde Maze all night. I'm going to finish those saucy-ass white sauce barbecue wings. I want to thank all you guys for joining so much. Again, much love and respect to all of you. This show would be super lame if no one was here watching and chilling out with me. So thank you. This will be on YouTube and Instagram probably within 24 hours, hopefully. I hope you all have a good night. Thank you so much. And we're going to do it again next week. I wish I had like a nice signing off bit like eat you next week. That's weird. You don't want to say that. You know what I mean. All right, we're going to do bits and bites next week. It's going to be Alaska edition. Next week's Alaska edition. It's going to be fucking fantastic. Thanks so much for joining, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Comment, subscribe, like, share, repost, do all the bits. Shill the shit. Thank you so much. Much love.